So we're back. It's been a lot of travel so far for this year for the two of us, all over the place, most recently Adepticon. And you brought back from Adepticon some snowy boys, some...
That's the official term, yes. A Song of Ice and Fire was the starter set that a lot of people received at Adepticon, so kind of got about painting that quickly. Those models are not the highest quality, but they are cool, and I just love having some kind of generic knights around. Without going too far into it, we're going to do a little Anti-Zenithal action. We'll roll that out for you. Yeah, it's a fun, catchy term, but it's the best word I could come up with to describe this approach to painting. Yeah. All right, let's paint some cavalry. Have some fun with the airbrush. So as you can see, everything has been base coated, just color blocked, a single color. And what I'm going to do is just spray the airbrush upwards and shade every object all at once. There are some things to remember, though. You want to balance this out. I'm picking a color that will harmonize with all of these colors I've laid down. I've got the red, ivory, a deep brown, white pony, and the yellow on the shield. So I've chosen P3's Thornwood Green. It's kind of a deep olive tone. You'll see how it harmonizes, but I just have to throw a few words about that. You have to be a little picky about the recipe that you choose. Just load up the old airbrush. We'll get into airbrush mixing at some point. I feel like there's already so much material on the topic that it's not quite necessary, and there's a lot of other great channels out there to check out. But basically, be mindful of the angle, coming at an upwards 45-degree angle, and very carefully, very lightly, using the three-dimensional aspects of the figure to my advantage. And just like with brush painting, you want to do this in many thin layers. If you spray down some paint and then you hover the spray in one area too long, it's going to start to spiderweb out on you, spread away from the area that you intended to paint, and you don't want that. So let's go very delicately. I know the temptation is high to just use the airbrush like a flamethrower and just cover this model to smithereens. We'll also kind of aim downward at the lower part of his abdomen here. I want to shade this feather right here, all right? Throw down my thumb, just kind of block off a portion of the spray, shade it in just like so. I'm going to have to come back for a second pass on all these parts. This first coat, you're just kind of planting the seeds. You want to let it lay and dry, and then these successive layers will have a little bit of pigment to grab onto. So we'll just give this a quick second to dry, and then we'll put on another coat. And you see how the accumulation makes a difference. All right, so coat number 1 is fully dried. It doesn't look like much, but I think you'll see the accumulation will start to take hold as we add the second pass. Let's make sure to spray out any potential hazards first. And then just following that same pattern that we laid down. Again, just maintaining that angle, 45-degree angle upwards. Get that feather one more time. And Shazam. Decent. I can also go back and add just a touch of black on kind of the lower third of the model before I start to add washes, edge highlights, etc. You can see the intended result versus the stage that it's at right now here. And then I've got a picture of the finished unit all together right there with some fine edge highlighting. And you could definitely take this technique to a higher level, or you could do some quick and dirty tabletop stuff like I know a lot of people are going to be after if you are like me and you got the Song of Ice and Fire into your hands at Adepticon. So I'm going to let that dry again and then just add a small touch of black to the Thornwood Green mixture just to enhance the shadows a little bit more for this next step. All right, so here it is with just that single pass. You can take this technique as far or as short as you'd like to. If it looks good at this point, then good. I'm happy if you're happy. But personally, I'm not happy. So I've added a little bit of black to that Thornwood Green mix because I want to get a little more contrast out of this. Add the airbrush out. It's a very quick and efficient tool. So let's just see what happened if I wanted to take this a little further. So just a touch of black in with that Thornwood Green. Again, spraying upwards, trying not to completely cover all of the Thornwood Green that I just did on the last pass. Yeah, just a little more depth, a little more synergy, a little more signal boosting. All the elements of business are also very important terms in miniature painting. And here you can see the finished result. Obviously, this is much more impressive on a unit of models versus a single figure. So chop into that. And I've also taken my act on the road. I've been teaching through CK Studios, ckstudios.bigcartel.com to catch up with my classes, as well as all the other fine instructors. There's a great roster of people involved. I'm also on Twitch at Samson Arts. I'm Samson Osmus on Instagram and the fantasy artist Sam Lenz on the Facebook. So I want to thank Adam and the whole crew at Tabletop Minions, every minion out there watching right now. Thank you all for doing what you do, and we can continue to do what we do. And I'll see you next time. Cheers.